So I'm going to spend just a couple minutes talking about filtering and then selecting and excluding data in an advisor project. The first concept is filtering. On the right here are a couple of charts called text filters. They filter data across an entire advisor project. And here we're looking at a prospect identification project for higher education fundraising. So it's about a group of people. Here's a list of, looks like 55,000 people. There's 39,000 have been filtered out because the rating filter does not include the unrated prospects, but it includes all the affiliation types. So these filters operate across the entire project. They drop the data out. It cannot be restored without coming back and turning this filter on. And by the way, these filters can also be, for our web version, applied on login for the users, but this is at the project level we're talking about here. So it might be, I only want to look at alums, and right now I have alums and faculty and staff and friends and other people. This is, to take things on and off, I can sweep over the ones on the bottom, which will take off, they'll uncheck the faculty, friends, others, and parents. Or I can drop everybody out and click the alums. So now I've got just the alums. It looks like there's 24,762. Add the faculty and staff in. It brings it up to 25,575. I can add in the friends. So these just basically toggle entities in and out of the project. So I'm going to just go with alums. Now I'm looking at 24,762 alums who have at least some kind of capacity rating. And that's set across the whole project. And generally we recommend putting all those filters on the first page because they're all in one place. If something's filtered out, you know how to go back and get it on because it's all on that first page. Now the second concept is selection. So with all of our charts, you can select the data that's in the chart. And for example, here's a chart on capacity rating of the 24,762 alums who are rated. And it's a bar chart, so you've got high capacity people, 50 million or more, and then lower capacity, 25 to 50,000. So it might be, I want to look at these 5 bars, 500 to a million to 5 million, 5 to 10. So this, I just left click and sweep across them. That makes a selection of all of the entities in those bars. And they show as colored, and the unselected data is gray, and the counts here will say I've selected 2,541 people who are the sum of these 5 bars. Now the concept of selection is we're showing it compared to everything that has not been yet filtered out or excluded. So over here, I'm seeing that the colored at the bottom are the disconnected alums who have high capacity. And the color shows there are some of them, and the brush up will tell me exactly how many. There are 445 out of 7,227, or 6.2%. So I'm seeing the skew into the other dimensions. I can go over here to the owners. I see there's some high capacity owners as well. In fact, there's 344 out of 1,435, or 24% of the owners are high capacity. I just learned something by seeing the selection compared to everything else. I learned that I have a higher percentage of high capacity people making up my owners, and let's check the highly engaged. I have 15% of them. There's a bunch down here who are disconnected, but they're a smaller percentage of the total. So I'm seeing a skew towards the high end, which is good, because presumably I'm cultivating these high capacity people. You expect to see more here. So I just learned something because it's seeing the selection compared to everything else. Now it might be, we want to get rid of the unselected data. So there's a control at the top, exclude unselected data in the entities table first. So it gets rid of the unselected people, drops it down. So all the gray goes away, and now I just have the 2,541 people. The count stays the same because the select is the same, but the gray is gone. I might want to then grab the ones that are highly engaged owners, exclude the gray, and now I have a list of 1,065 that's going to be on my first page, so I can export the list and get this out of here, whatever else I want to do with it. All the other pages will show that as well. And the staffing page is going to show 1,065 and so forth. Now, a couple other just more advanced things. Let's go back a couple of steps so I can undo. And it might be that at this point, I want to go back, undo a few more steps back to this point. Went too far. I might want to add in another bar. So I'm in replace mode. I can switch to add mode. This lets me add in, say, the lower rated people. It colors them in. They jump into the population. I might say I don't want them. I can subtract them out. I can also intersect. So instead of excluding, I'm high capacity people are highly engaged. This is going to grab those two color bars, basically, rid of every else. So I get the same 1,000 slant into this group over here. Then I could exclude down, so I'm going to be at the same point I was a few minutes ago. So I just want to go a little more advanced. Let's undo a few steps. That I can, do this mouse control will do different things with how the select occurs. A couple of other features, I can also exclude the selected instead of the unselected. It basically gets rid of the colored part and flips it. Now I've got all this lower capacity alums. Let's undo. I can, at any point, this next control brings me back to the starting point, back up to those filters. It'll bring me back to the 24,762. And then I've got a control here to restore the excluded items. So if I had excluded and wanted to bring the gray back, and click this, it brings the gray back. I've also got controls over here where I can toggle the selection, which flips it from the one side to the other side, back and forth. So there's a lot of flexibility in here, what we allow you to do with selecting and then excluding data, and that's the core of the ability to slice and dice across a lot of dimensions in an ad hoc fashion to get lists that you want out. And at any point, the list on the first page is going to be the selection state, and it tells you right here what's selected and what's unselected and what's been excluded or filtered. And then this list can be, go down here, export the list out. Right over here, CSV, it'll drop this out to Excel, and I'll have my list out of here into Excel. So that's it on filtering, selecting, and excluding data. Thanks. Take care.